journey. And then we'll get to chat with Jacinta Parsons, but pay attention to the screen right now.
I might seem like I'm fine, but for the past 20 years, I've been pretty much anything but fine. When I was 20, I got sick. I actually got really sick. When I eventually got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, I thought that I would start to get better. But instead, my life spiraled into a mess of doctors and hospitals and learning to live with the constant companion of chronic illness while trying to pretend to the world that I was fine. Just under 50% of Australians are dealing with chronic illness. You'd never think it though, because most illnesses are unseen. They're endured in secrecy and often they're misunderstood. Imagine the shame, the loss of identity, the constant reminder of your mortality when you're constantly sick in a world that is designed for the well. I hope by revealing my own challenges with chronic illness, I can give voice to at least some of the millions of Australians that are living with chronic illness, unseen and unheard.
And we have the pleasure of having Jacinta Parsons.
Oh, is that you? I'm playing that.
Everybody loves the sunshine. Are you watching back the show from 20 minutes ago just to get the vibe?
Oh, you know what? I really am.
Oh,
I've been nervous about today. I'm not. How good are you at technology? Look at you. Whoop. We're just going to play some previous, video. And then
I went to bed at. I scrambled out of the lounge room about 9:30 last night and said goodnight to Mum, and then she went to bed at 11, and I was still staring at the laptop in my room, just stressing out about that whole clip, lining it up, getting the book right. Do I even play this first? Do I introduce Jacinta as just this person that's released a book and is got this illness hit, or do I talk about some other things? But I went with it, and thanks for encouraging.
That was good.
My technology skill.
So ask, is your mum the technical producer in the background?
Yeah. She's just in. This is in.
Or is she like Dickie Nee, where you just see the back of her head?
Little.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's. Oh, this is live streaming from her room. It's just a one bedroom. No, it's not. We're not in a house sit. We're in a big enough house for me to have my own room.
But she's the technical producer.
She got no idea.
Right.
But it'd probably be 90% of her questions that we talk about when it starts with, "Hey Troy," hey, you know what it's going to be. She's got her phone and she's got frowns and she's tried for 10 minutes and she's in a kerfuffle. She's about to lose it. So she's like, "Hey Troy, how do you get the Google off the page," or something like that? It'll be something. Ugh.
To become like that. I used to be good. I think there's a thing that happens.
Have you lost your like you haven't kept up to the level like you've?
No, I think it's like the dad joke that comes upon you. I think I'm becoming an older mum that doesn't know how to use the internet.
Yeah. I get that. I'm starting to not know what TikTok is, and I'm over it.
Dude, you're on Twitch, so don't even talk to me.
Oh, cool. Okay. Hey, was your book launch last night? Or
well,
what's going on?
We're in a complete pandemic. It was Tuesday night it came out, so that's all it really means, because we can't do parties or anything. But I'm going to do a live Q&A with Julia Zamiro next week to talk about it. I know. How good's that?
Does she make you smile when you say her name?
Yeah.
Like, I just got a little bit like, I don't even know her super well, but I know her enough through Rock Wiz Crew, and Julia just knows how to bring the warmth to all of her presence.
In her heart.
Yeah.
That's why she's good.
It's real, isn't it, with Julia?
Yeah, real.
Hey, but tell let's just. What do you want to? Do you want to talk about the book?
Yeah, I'm happy to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. If you haven't heard of Jacinta before, or you haven't seen her face, it's because she's on radio without video. But you are. You've been on air on ABC for. Go on. How long?
Maybe 3 or 4 years.
Oh, did you jump on new with Sammy for the that was your start at ABC Radio. What? I felt like you just owned the joint.
No, I'd been there working with Double J as a music director, but not on air.
Right.
So yeah, my first brilliant experience at the ABC was to get pretty much annihilated. Yeah.
What do you mean by annihilated?
Well, we followed after, a much loved broadcaster. So everyone hated us. Yeah. But anyway, you know what it's like getting up early.
Yeah, but no one hates me, I don't think.
Well, you don't
That's
know
heavy. That's heavy. That's heavy. You did take after. People hate him too. Just to even it out, like people hate everyone. Everyone's hated. Everyone's got haters. I'm sure I do. I'm sure people look at this stream and go, far out. I just want to go on Facebook or how annoying is his head? But this is not annoying. This is about you, and I'm really excited because you've helped me out with some good little supports and help outs at the ABC, and you were so encouraging when I first met you, and I think that's just you. But now you're encouraging others too. Do you know? I don't know if you've heard our show in the past few weeks, but we've got a guy that comes on at 8:30, and
Dollop of Dave.
Dollop of Daz.
Daz.
It's worth having a crack. It's always worth having a crack. Doesn't matter if it's wrong. But he said something categorically. This is what his words are, and he's a brilliant wordsmith. He said, "Wear your scars like a general wears their stars."
Ah.
Yeah.
Dollop. Daz.
It's in here, that comment. I said it to Mum last night. I said it to Mum the other day. Another time, go, Mum, general wears their stars. Let's go. Is this book a little bit like that for you?
Yes. That's such a beautiful way to think about it. Because I think it takes such a long time to transform what has been a really challenging experience into recognizing that it's exactly why you are who you are, because the process can be such a long and fraught one. But for sure, my illness that I've gone through for 20 years has made me who I am. And I would never not have the experience that I've gone through with it, because it's been an incredible teacher about life and about, when you get stripped bare, you don't have all the trappings of your regular kind of, getting about life to protect you from having to kind of look really deeply within. I feel like that's what happened with illness. And so when I wrote the book, I didn't ever think I'd write a book, because I thought, whatevs, I think, when everybody else has got massive stories and really important things happening, and you never kind of think that you have something to say. But there was a beauty in the experience that I had, and something really profound that I wanted to explain in a way that I hadn't necessarily had an opportunity to read before, I think.
There was, you touched on it. You wrote a little piece for The Age yesterday, which I read, and it. You talked about kind of how this is very COVID for you, and this whole kind of ISO stuff is quite familiar for yourself and perhaps a lot of people with chronic illness, hidden illnesses, and it seems like you just touched on it then, that it can be something that no one can be bothered hearing because it's just not in the. It's not in the visible bracket? Is that it? Or it's not, it's not.
I think it's a whole lot of stuff. I think visibility is a really big deal with it, because you can't show anybody. And so there's already a skepticism about the experience that you're having if people can't see what's wrong with you. And if you've got a chronic illness, the whole deep aspect of that is that it won't go away. It's not going to be cured. So there's a fatigue with having a compassion for people with chronic illness. It's like, mate, get on with it, know? And so there's a lot of hiding, I guess. It's easier to get on and not share the experience that you're having, rather than trying to have, I guess, a world outside of you find a compassion, an endless compassion for the experience that you're going through.
And so or you could say it took you 20 years, or it took you just this moment of time to go, bingo, I'm going to express this. There's no more put me in the second tier of conversation importance. You've definitely changed that immediately. You're getting great coverage, which is excellent. But how does it feel to put your stars on your chest right now?
It feels really good. It's pretty exposing because a lot of the illness stuff that I've gone through is normally what we would consider fairly kind of shameful stuff, like physical changes, and stuff to do with IBD is often stuff you don't talk about. So there's still parts of me that are horrified with sharing that stuff. But there is something powerful, isn't there, as your mum would know, by standing beside stuff, especially when it's hard to, because there is a bigger story to be told. And yours is one of the stories that needs to join that chorus. I think that's partly what it is too. I'm not alone in any way, shape or form in the experience that I've had, but I think more of us talking about it means that more people will be seen and they won't feel as kind of alone in what they're going through.
Perhaps the elephant in the room right now for people that haven't read your article yesterday or seen your book or looked at any of my posts recently. What is your chronic illness?
I've got Crohn's disease, and I think I got diagnosed 20 odd years ago, and I had a particularly vicious experience with it for about maybe 10 years. So that included like an ileostomy bag. It included surgery all the time. And I was really, really sick and couldn't work. And my whole life was pretty much flattened as a result of it. So it was, as I say, just this pretty profound experience of losing everything, and having to kind of work out when you get back on your feet how you're going to and how you can build a life out of that.
Whilst trying to not bother people.
Yeah. Well, you need to, I think I don't know if it's a good thing, but you work out pretty soon that you have to really rely on yourself. Work out that it's just really hard to persistently kind of give support to people. So, I think that's part of the resilience of it, is you take a lot of responsibility for how you cope with it. I think that's good and bad. Yeah.
I don't know where you said this, but you did. A world that is designed for the well. I don't know if I read that yesterday or heard it yesterday. You've got content coming from all angles at the moment. I don't know. Maybe you texted me. Make sure you say this. You could have.
I just need
that. Made me. Hey, that's a new. But yeah, of course that makes sense. But I've never acknowledged it because probably I haven't been encouraged or forced to look at the world through that lens. What did you mean? What do you mean by a world that is designed for the well?
I think it's apparent in almost every facet of the way we live. Everything is designed for get up, get in, honest day's work, honest day's play, all of those sort of mantras around our industrialized world. Even the way that we interact with each other, it's all about being good enough and ready to go, and if you're not well, then you fall behind in a very significant way very quickly. I mean, when I was young, I used to work down at the Carlton Flats, just as a volunteer once a week or whatever. And that was all about relief for a lot of men that found themselves suddenly homeless. And a lot of it was to do with health. Something suddenly had happened in their lives that meant that they couldn't work properly. They couldn't support their families. So slowly but surely, your life completely is decimated. And if there's a lot of stakes on the table, you've got kids, you've got mortgages, very quickly your life can turn around. But we push that away a lot. I mean, this is a reflected thing that we do with so much of our society. But it's built for people that can keep up. And, watching what happened with the pandemic and how suddenly, we can all work from home. Why hasn't that been, an authentic availability for a lot of people. It's really something you're not allowed to really ask for. It's all that sort of stuff.
Like it's as if you're taking a shortcut. Like,
yeah.
why are you allowed? You're not that sick. Come on.
Yeah, all of that. You're a whinger, and there is absolutely, it's built into all of us, this kind of, well, people would describe it as ableism, where you have an assumption of how we should all be behaving as able-bodied people. And honestly, when the stats are that 50% of us are chronically unwell in whatever way, how are we so unconscious to this bias that we have?
And what's your view? Can you give us why are we so unconscious about this particular?
And you have this all the time as well, talking about stuff when it's not visible to a huge population. Your experience of living, it's about talking. It's about, I think inherently people are good, and it's just through a lack of compassion, through a lack of not having these stories being told. And so I think it's trying to tell them in a way that's looking to bring people along. How can we make different decisions? How do we highlight the problem? It's structural, same as everything, isn't it? At the end of the day, work structures, government structures, the way that we then allow kind of certain rhetoric to enter, the vernacular. Fucking, if you're on a disability pension or you're a job seeker or all those sorts of things, how much stigma is associated to it because you're a bludger. And so many people who haven't been able to keep up fit into that bludger, into that kind of category. So I think, heaps about this sort of stuff, don't you, in terms of that, how do you make change? And I think it's just stories upon stories and articulation of it so that it penetrates a broader community to go, oh, fuck, yeah, we haven't really thought about that frame before.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, you just don't be silent.
I
don't know how, that's pretty much the catalyst or the thing that catapults you into doing something is silent isn't working.
No.
So speak up. What have you got to say? I don't think it really matters how it comes out. I mean, you've got a great communication skill and had support around you to write and do a book, but it's not always. It doesn't need to be that way. It can just be things like, would you suggest, like just talking to your close network that you haven't even started with yet?
Exactly. And I think, it's really, this is, not even, but I follow a lot of people and learn a lot about my own things through, just the framework. You just have to push outside your bubble and encounter the world from different perspectives to ensure that, we're biased, we're constructed, we're all the things that we know we are, but there's ways that you can mitigate against how that then creates a crap community,
For people that do get the book, what can they expect from the read? Give it a rating. Like, is it deep and sad? Does it get deep? If someone's got chronic illness and goes, this is exactly what I need right now, do they need it? Or are they going to go, do they need to just be holding on to their rails in their house going, don't read this unless you're having a good day? Or is it quite light, or is it?
No, it's not light, but I hope what it does is find language and find I hope a deeper way and a perspective and an insight into an experience that we don't talk about that much, I suppose, because it's really profound illness. Like it's a profound experience to have. And I think that's what I tried to talk about. And I framed it inside the structure and talk a lot about inequities, First Nations issues with people of color, for women, a whole lot of stuff going on in our health system that needs urgent attention. So it's all of that, but it's also my story as much as I could. It's pretty real. So I just wanted to be real about it.
It's on sale. Is it online? It's everywhere. How do people get the book?
I don't know.
Speak to my publishing company.
Go to a bookshop for sure, because it's Love Your Bookshop Day on Saturday, Troy.
Is that poor timing, or do they just stick to the date because it's an annual thing, or are we allowed to go to the bookshops?
Well, you can. That's a
Some
lot of
people
people
can.
on their bikes writing the books to the people.
Oh,
I say, can I please come and get the book? And they leave it on the footpath for you, and you scurry up and grab it. There are ways to love your bookshop still, even though it's a rough old time. So yeah, love your locals.
This is so much more about a book though too, and I appreciate you taking time just out of your life.
This is the best.
Do you like it?
I want it. Yeah.
I might get you to do that's exact. I need some little stingers like at the start.
Oh.
Hey, yeah. Do you like I'm Jacinta Parsons and I'm over in wherever you live, and this is really good radio. I listen to little kids talking and stuff like that.
Great. I'll do a sting. I'll collect some stings for you. I'll get out. I'm your little soldier network.
Just steal ABCs and just say really good radio over the top of the ABC bit.
Yeah. This is just on really good radio.
Yeah. Hey, we've got some comments coming in. Yeah, and stop getting your news from Facebook. Well, yeah, it's funny because I wanted this station to be a reason for people not to go to Facebook, but I'm streaming on Facebook. You know what? But look, hey, there's an element of self-control. You lead a horse to water.
You need a snake in the grass. So
yeah. Jane Blackston, bosses and leaders need training in how to care for their workers living with chronic illness.
Yes.
Is that how many workplaces have you worked in? And has that been the case?
And there's always stuff, but I did lots of interviews with people as well, and there's this one woman that told me she worked in this government department, and she was really sick. Like she has MS eventually, diagnosed, and she has other, full-on illness going on. And so she says to her bosses, "Oh, look, I need your help to kind of find a way for me to work." And they're like, "Well, yeah, whatever." And they make it really hard for her. And part of her condition meant that she had to go to the toilet all the time, and she'd have this boss trailing her in there and monitoring her.
Get out. Checking for sounds and
see what's going on. And
haven't heard the Dunny roll. Roll.
The shoes, she could see them under the thing, and she said one day
it's off,
isn't it though? But there's there's a skepticism that you're trying to have a go, have a lend, all that sort of, that worker stuff that we carry.
Yeah. So I'm just playing this out in my head. I've been a bit I haven't followed my staff to the toilet because the toilet was next door outside of my cafe. But I've questioned, do you really need to go to the toilet right now in the middle of the busiest time ever? But I've never said anything. But I can imagine that people take that too far. Where's that? So what would you suggest for anyone that gets a little bit in that role of this is my business, what are you doing? You're stuffing my time around, or that micromanager, which that label is always a hard one to digest, but sometimes micromanaging is not micromanaging, it's you're stuffing around too much. Get back into line. Where's the balance? How do we act live in life?
Because what the collision here is a human as an object of commerce and a human that is, a person. And what we find really hard in work is that we're there as a unit of economy. So, it's like you do the work. I think we have to find a way to humanize it, to understand that we are really complex.
Yes.
And I get what you're saying. You are in a particular place and dude's really hungover and he's going to the toilet every 5 minutes.
I was thinking of hungover situations, and it might have been me. It doesn't matter if it was or wasn't.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
They're real having a lend, but I think we apply that really broadly a lot. And I think if you set up a workplace that cares about people care about work. Like you see it time and time again, and you say, I respect you. People want to work. People want to do a good job. It feels good to work well.
Yeah.
If we have more of that going on and more understanding about that we work differently, that we need different environments to do it well, that we can be, productive people, not in the way that you've put it in this cookie cutter, come to a workplace, sit on a chair and look at a computer screen. There are other ways that we need to think about doing it.
It usually comes down to the character of the person, I think. Like, is this person lying? But then to override that, if you are stressed out and you're just so stressed out about time, so much so that you just the third toilet break's just doing your head in, to take that example, then probably it's time to go, is it really that big a deal that they went to the toilet 3 times? What? Unless it's 10 minutes, or I don't know. Like, yeah. Now I'm just I'm actually talking with 2 parrots on my head, going, yeah, really? What do you reckon? Yeah, but what about this happens? Jacinta's here. No, but humanising it, understanding complexities, understanding people are not like you, and how far can you flex? Well, or stretch with someone could be the.
And it's not an entire flexibility where it's all falls on you. I don't think that's the expectation, but I think it's, and cafes are really hard to be flexible in, and I think they're really hard places to work because, you're physical, you need to be there, and it has to happen in a certain way. But there's so many other examples of places can be flexible in the way that they think about how the work can get done. I think soon we'll see that we're not going to be paid for hours. We're going to get paid for jobs. And we will do it the way we need to do it. We give a job, we finish a job, we get paid for it.
I think on the back of the last 3 months, definitely that sort, yeah.
For sure.
Stay home, get the job done. Wow, like so many things probably have survived that everyone thought that were going to not survive if you don't turn up to work. If anything, everyone's just a little bit happier.
Yeah, I think what we'll find is a balance. So you go to work a couple of days, you work from home a couple of days.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I think it's just a great disruption to what has been immovable structures in workplaces. And of course they could bloody do it.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Of course you make it possible for a whole workforce to be at home. But they just never wanted to before, I think, because of all of that fear of, being taken for a ride.
I think about your role and the clash. No, to come back to you, you were a fixed fixture on radio with loads of responsibility to listeners. Your crookest day, you've got to go into work. Yeah, so you went.
Yeah, definitely.
Crohn's is a tough.
Yeah.
The worst day of Crohn's. Tell me what goes on. Lack of energy is probably one thing that I do know. Your energy gets sapped. Is that right?
Yep.
You don't have a bad day and have all your energy.
No, it feels for me, because everyone does experience it really differently.
Right.
And depending on how severe your illness is. So mine ended up fistulizing, which meant that it traveled right through my digestive system and made abscesses in places that we need to talk about. But my bad regular day would be just a body that feels like it's got the flu. So all my bones, I've got a fever, and I feel really, really tired, and I have to go to the toilet all the time. And every time I go, I want to vomit, and I feel really, really wiped out by the experience. Like it's like you've been knocked out, and then you've got to, and the fever I think was a big debilitating thing for me. Like all the time having fever, that's like it's normally go to bed for it, but you can't. You just got to keep going.
And then present on air and be public. It's you're so impressive, Jacinta. You are a warrior of the highest order.
I love that. I'm going to take that whole. What was it? Wear
your scars like a general wears their stars.
Love a bit of Daz, even though I thought it was Dave.
It's irrelevant who it is, but he said it. That person that you're thinking of.
He's what we're all constructions. He's just a little bit of energy.
I know. He's a copywriter, like a legit, excellent, famous
actual person.
Proper, like he does copywriting and he knows what you want to say and how to say it and how to think it, and he makes your thoughts better. That's why we've got a daily dollop of Daz. Hey, what?
We need that guy.
Yeah, we need it daily. Yeah. She's so tough. Jane said you are so tough. This is my friend Jane. You are so tough. Talk. Open it up, be real, discuss a plan together, employee and employee, and open to friend and friend, human to human. Nice one. Hey, Jacinta, I'm going to go and guess what? I'm going to play your other song request on the way out.
I'm so pumped. You're going to love this so much. This is so time for it. This is tough time.
Thanks for coming on my show. It's such early beginnings of the show. You could have looked.
Proud of you.
You're so used to like, you know, so many more listeners. You probably looked at my Instagram and went, oh, 47 followers. I ain't getting up for that.
No,
No.
I want my regular segment, but we'll work on that.
We could do one. We can just
your technical producer about it.
You could be the Dickie Knee.
I could be Dickie Knee.
You got kind of like a Dickie. Yeah. You got a little bit of Dickie Knee hair vibe at the back. They'll go, yeah, that's Jacinta. Look at the frizz.
Dickie Knee in all of us. If you grew up in the 80s, Dickie Knee embedded himself.
You got to try and not be a Dickie Knee too much on radio though, because you can't interrupt. You know what it's like. You can't interrupt too much. It's.
You know what? Let's not be Dickie Knee. Dickie Knee's a dork. I don't want to be Dickie Knee.
Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be off Hey Hey It's Saturday?
That is the worst question.
Who don't you want to be on Hey Hey It's Saturday?
I know. Animal, the drummer. Remember Animal?
Is that Fraggle Rock?
No, that was
I know.
the Muppets. Then there was a real animal on Hey Hey Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's inspiring. That's a great way to finish. Hey, Jacinta, thanks heaps.
Oh, thank you.
I love you. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing and digging deeper into.
You're deep. Good work.
It's deep.
Yeah.
Where you start.